Actually have Inzektors. This is such a crazy day. We actually have Genex and Ice Bears and some other crazy stuff today as well. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you do not miss out on more awesome content. When was the last time you saw an Inzektor deck actually attempting to keep up with the meta? I'll give you an answer. It was probably 2012, 2013. And most of the Inzektor stuff has been massively quiet. But this build challenges a lot of the things I thought I knew about these sorts of decks. And I actually think that it's crazy. So first of all, you have the base of the Horus package in here. That way, guess what? You can discard, one of your pieces along the way. And you can go ahead and set up and, start doing extra deck plays along the way. I also see that, yes, we are playing an Armor Horn. Yeah, we all know how stupid good this can be. I also see that we're doing some interesting little plays with the Chronomaly side of things and the Bish Bulkin. Let's call it what it is at this point in time. Your Bish Bulkin FTK deck with the Inzektors of all things. I'm really just intrigued. I also see that we're playing a copy of Shadow's Light. This lets you, go ahead and special, or you eat a dark off of your field, special summon a light monster from your deck or extra deck with the same original type and attribute. Which, you got kind of some interesting little ideas going for you down here for what you're able to pull out of this. I also see that we're playing one copy of the Digital Bug Cocoon Denser. Interesting. Except for an insect exceed monster in terms of the summoning. Well, that's not going to be a problem. We have so many little insects for us to have advantage for. It actually works out. Also, interesting. I'm glad to see Ladybug here actually getting the chance to see some play for the level modification to actually make a difference for this deck. Cool. Next up, we have Go Genex. And you do see that this build is actually sporting off triple magical midfield breaker. Now, unfortunately, we here in the TCG do not get to enjoy this card because we have it limited to one because we abused it at one point in our gaming career. But the sad part is, this deck is incredibly fragile. I also see that you do have to play the one crossout designator. If you were to play this in the current TCG, I think you would have to maximize on crossout, and you would have to play this because Droll is such a problem card. You already do see this, seeing play. We're also only playing one copy of actually, we are playing a copy of Recycled here. Interesting. So this is going to act as another little sub-tuner, actually as a level 1. And of course, when you start to do some combos here, you can go through double Trishula and X-Saber Gothams. You are going to get a lot of hand ripping out of this, the way it looks. And then, of course, Arms of Genex. I'm glad to see that this deck became a lot more degenerate of a powerhouse. I always wanted my opponent to not get the chance to actually have fun. Now, remember, everything for this build does revolve around the concept of Repair Genex actually sticking on the field. If anything happens to Repair Genex, it gets impermed, it gets, negated and shut off, you're not going to be able to summon another one of these because the card specifically says you can only make one per turn, and the minute that anything happens here, it's all shut off. That's my really, really, really big complaint about all of this is if this goes away, the deck crumbles into nothingness. But that doesn't mean that, once again, you don't have ways, at least in the OCG, to try to supplement this. It does look like it worked out, so interesting, to say the least. Next up here, we have Ice Barriers. Now, I've been genuinely intrigued by Ice Barriers in the OCG, because when you read these Ice Barrier cards, you genuinely look at these cards and go, wow, these are really good. There's got to be something to make these actually work out. Well, I think this has been the slowest of the builds because Infernoid and Ritual Beast were pretty much figured out on the spot. Most people were like, yeah, this is what we're going to do. We're off to the races. I've also seen a huge debate on how many Ice Jade Rana Grinds do you want to play in this build. I've seen 1 and 3. No, nobody's playing 2. It's been 1 or 3. I also see that we're playing a General Raiho as well. This is not something that I have seen players actually doing, but I mean, your opponent activates an effect, they have to discard one or the effect is negated. That actually could be a really devastating floodgate on the opponent. You know, an infinite vacuum where your opponent just kind of gets punished by not being able to do things. Pretty good. Also like the one swap frog in here. The double super poly. I see that we're playing Garua and Mud Dragon in here as well. So everything is as it should be with this. We're still not even playing the Ice Barrier Trap. We are playing one copy of Winds Over the Ice Barrier, though. Card's actually pretty bonkers for this deck. Incredible. I'm happy to see Ice Barriers actually functioning. Next up here, it is Ritual Beast and Friends. Now, a full disclaimer here. I mean, most of these Ritual Beast decks I've seen have been main decking the Dimensional Fissure. Like, the card is just the free little vacuum that you need to kind of suck things up and, you know, devastate your opponent. And either way, like, I think this card is broken. It's one of the best floodgates that you could actually have running around for you right now. But you don't really see a lot of decks, I guess, taking advantage of this, though this deck has got some disgusting things going for it. This deck actually gets a chance to play Protoss, so we're doing the Nemesis Cordorn flag, which means this deck can randomly deploy a Colossus and ruin your opponent's day. Man, the fact that the Ritual Beast package is able to do all of this, it's crazy. Now, no Noble Knight Shield Bearer in this list, honestly. I do like Shield Bearer. It does help you get to Rimpengu, but this build is trying to do more than it actually has right now. And that's not a bad thing, all right? Optimization does say that you want to try to have your deck be able to do a couple things while maintaining that consistency. And, you know, this little package built into the deck doesn't hurt things at all. Also, pour only one Elder. Not really worth it to try to play multiples of this at this point. Also, the value of only one Steeds. A lot of builds were playing two in the beginning. Next up here, we have Dinosaurs. You know, the craziest innovation that I feel like Dinosaurs have gotten was just Kaito Patara and the fact that they're also playing the Hornsaurus in here as well. So if your opponent controls two or more face-up non-win monsters, those monsters cannot target this card for attacks, blah, blah, blah. But during your main phase, you add a Polymerization from your deck to your hand, and this is banished. You can special summon and then add a Polymerization, blah, blah, blah. But the biggest thing that you care about here is it searches for Poly, which searches for the Hornsaurus, which is just a dinosaur dragon plus this. It can attack directly. Woo! And then on Fusion Summon, you can place a field spell from your deck or graveyard face up in the field zone. And then during your main phase, you can basically get a normal summon for an additional dino. So you're not really getting hurt by playing this little package in your deck. It's just here to open up the consistency doors for you to do your thing. Also, you know, a generic target. Also, imagine a world where you can actually polymerization into Gigantohauser. Oh, wait, we have Ground Xeno for that. This is an interesting build showcasing, you know, the latest innovations in dinosaur technology. But I don't know. I look at Dinosaurs now, and the build hasn't really gone too crazily different from the past. And our last list here is actually 60-card Raid Raptor. Sporting off that Grass Elixir Eater, we have seen a lot of Raid Raptor list out of the OCG, starting to go towards 60 with this. It's free deck thinning, free resource setup, and most of the time, I mean, everything that you're doing here is you're trying to set up for the Rising Rebellion Falcon as your boss monster. You know, literally the card says, hey, I'm unaffected, good luck, have fries. But outside of that, your utility options are in the massive side of Raid Raptors, because, you know, guess what, you're getting locked into literally anything Raid Raptor if you're attempting some of these effects. And I also see we're doing a Cattle Call in here as well. You know what, I suppose, man, I'm not surprised to see some sort of terrible ideas that you can bring to the table because of Cattle Call. Grass plus Cattle Call. Yeah, imagine the infinite combo potential that you can have there. So those are the interesting ideas that I saw out of the OCG this week. And, you know, I like what I'm seeing. I like that you have all of these ideas that are coming to fruition. And, you know, maybe they're failing in some parts, but I like what we're seeing here. So please, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.